Let's be real, middle of a pandemic lockdown. Not a great time to need a haircut, is it? Hi guys, so it's me again. I'm back again, and I'm not Slim Shady. So I wanted to start this video by saying the hugest, most bewildered thank you to everybody who commented on my last video coming back to BookTube. I never in a million years expected that response, so it was really sort of heartwarming and lovely to have so many of you say you were pleased to have my face back on your screens. It was just such a lovely little boost because I wasn't sure about it. It was something I just sort of did on a whim, and yeah, it was just genuinely really lovely and baffling, as I say, to have so many of you be so lovely. So thank you. I may have been in therapy for 18 months, but it doesn't mean I'm any better at taking compliments or nice things about me feeling normal. Nah, you know what? Fuck it. Thank you. It means a lot, and yeah, it's good to be back. And the fact that some people were saying that at the moment, with everything going on, my face popping up in subscriptions was a lovely little thing on a day and brightened people's days, well, that made my day. So thank you to everybody who's commented. I haven't replied to all of them because I went to start replying to all of them and I just got so kind of overwhelmed and not really sure what to say. So if I haven't replied yet, A, I will, and B, sorry, it's not that I don't appreciate it, it's that I was just kind of like, huh? So I nearly sat down to record another video day before yesterday, and I was thinking, right, I want to do another video, but I got really in my head about what to talk about. I think after that first video, I had a load of ideas of things that I want to do, and part of my brain was like, right, got to do all of them now, and I have to do the absolute best idea first. So yesterday afternoon I was planning on doing a video, and I'd come and I'd set up the camera and I'd got a stack of books out, and I just got so in my head, I thought, you know what, not going to do it. If I'm stressed at the thought of doing a video, then it's not the right time to do it. So instead I went and started making a makeshift sun lounger, as you do. I figured I'm going to be at home now, the sun is starting to shine, it's spring over here, so I have basically made myself a mini pallet which I will stand up against a bench and I can lean on the grass. Lovely. So I decided to totally scrap the video that I had been thinking of doing yesterday, and instead I'm going to do my TBR for Simon over at SavidgeReads, his book Hibernation weekend, which every time I say it, Hibernation, I feel like I'm just saying a weird accent, but it's also lovely. I've been getting at myself for not sort of engaging in a lot of these things that have been going on that I've sort of looked at from afar and wanted to still engage with, things like Lauren and the Book's Cozy Reading Nights. I've been like, oh yeah, it would be really nice to get back involved with it, but I don't know. So I'm like, no, sod it, I'm getting on this hibernation thing. I think it's really important at this strange time to actually give ourselves permission to just stop. You know, we are a society that's so kind of go, go, go and always have to be doing something. You know, things that we've got to do around the house or jobs or things like that. We're always so kind of switched on that at the moment we're kind of being forced to switch off in some cases, not in all cases, and I understand that, you know, not everybody's lucky enough to be able to sort of switch off, but so much of life has kind of been taken out of my hands, out of our hands at the moment. So, you know, this weekend I'm going to give myself permission to just switch off and read. I did manage to get a Tesco's click and collect shopping spot, so I'm going to go and pick that up tomorrow afternoon. That'll be fun. So, the book Hibernation tag, Simon over at SavidgeReads has set this up for a weekend of just reading and being nice to yourself. He's going to do 24 and 48, which is reading for 24 or 48 hours. I don't think I'm going to do that, but I have got a nice little stack of books for a TBR. So Simon set up some prompts, and the first one is a book by a favourite author. Now, to anybody who's watched this... sorry, fly attack. Those of you who've been around this channel for its life will probably not be surprised that I'm going to go for an Ali Smith book as my favourite author. That was my ankle, did you hear that? Ali Smith has been a long time favourite author of mine. I've not read all of her books. It's kind of a case of like I'm saving some of her books because I don't want to run out. In the last 18 months I have read Spring and Summer, or no, what? I call myself an Ali Smith fan. The Seasons Quartet, I've read those, but I have slightly struggled to read Ali Smith in the same way as I have previously. Now, I think I know why that is. In the week that my dad came back to the UK and was really sick and things were going shit, I was reading Ali Smith's Hotel World. I've not finished that book, and I'm not sure that I ever will finish that book. That is the book I was reading when my dad died that I couldn't finish because my dad died, that I was reading to try and distract myself from the fact that my dad was dying. So my relationship with Ali Smith since then has been a little more tentative, I think. And I don't know how weird a thing that is, but it's there. You know, Hotel World is up on the Ali Smith shelf up there. Yes, there's basically a whole Ali Smith shelf. I can show you one day. And every time I go up there and I look at it, I kind of just get a little bit... But having said that, I've decided, you know what, she is my favourite author for a reason. I love her stuff, and this is a chance to read a couple of hers that aren't her sort of collection of short stories and aren't one of her novels. I've actually gone for 2 Ali Smith books that I'm going to try and read this weekend because they are shorter ones, which kind of falls in with one of the other prompts, but yeah. So the first one is Shire. Now this is a book by Ali Smith with illustrations by Sarah Wood. Now I'll be totally honest, I've kind of forgotten a little bit what this book is about. I think from memory it's kind of like a sort of intertwining of like travel and non-fiction and fiction, and there's sort of 4 sections in there, but it's something that's a little bit different that I think is just going to sort of take me away from stuff, get me back into Ali Smith land, and yeah, it's just a lovely hardback, but it's lovely. So yeah, I'm going to read that one, and the other one that I'm going to read is The Story of Antigone. Now this is Ali Smith's retelling of that story. I'm not so hot on my Greek myths. I love them. I love the ones that I do know, but I don't know them very well. Now this one's published by Pushkin Children's Press as well, so it's a retelling for sort of younger readers. So again, I think it's just going to be something that I can just get lost in, won't take me too long, not too taxing, but also peak Ali Smith. Now Simon's second prompt is a book you've been saving for a rainy day. And I kind of looked at this prompt and went, yeah, because kind of all of these books I'm sort of saving for a rainy day. Now I think where previously I might have gone for something a little more cerebral or dense, or maybe even gone for like a really chunky, heavy book that I could get my teeth stuck into, I'm just not in that headspace anymore. So the book I have chosen for that is, well, it is technically a chunky one, but it's a graphic novel, On a Sunbeam by Tillie Walden. I'm coughing, but it's allergies, not corona. So this is one I've been meaning to read for a while. It was one of the sort of last books I bought before I stopped working at the bookshop, and it is a big hefty graphic novel, but it's all I can remember, again because I bought it a while ago, is basically I can remember the words, it's a queer space opera. I mean, what's not to love? And this is one that I've definitely kind of been waiting for an excuse to read. I don't know, that just sounds really bonkers. Smaller graphic novels I'll sit and just sort of read in bed, but something this big I've kind of been like, oh no, I'll wait, and so this time is now. Then, prompt the third is a book that is short and sweet. Now again, I'm going for 2 here. I don't know, it's 4, I don't know, just all the numbers. I'm going for 2 here. I'm going for 2 from the Faber Stories, which is a set of sort of small bite-sized stories. Now the first one I'm going to do is Barbara Kingsolver's Homeland. I have never actually read any Barbara Kingsolver. I've got the Lacuna on my shelf, and I think the Poisonwood Bible, another one of hers. Never read any, so I thought this will be a nice intro. It's only like 35 pages, and it's a little bit about sort of ancestry and a bit of a road trippy thing in there. So yes, that's the first one from Faber Stories that I'm going to give a go. The second one is Mostly Hero by Anna Burns. Now, I did start reading Anna Burns' Milkman when it was shortlisted before it won the Man Booker? This is how out of the loop I am, I can't remember anything. But when this lady's other book won that prize that it won, I had started reading it, and I was enjoying it, and it was one of those that, again, very much my kind of thing, but I wasn't 100% in the right headspace for it. So this is a slightly longer, short one, but I'm hoping to get lost in this one too. And look at the cover, ooh, pretty. I should say, the Faber Stories collection I've been loving. I've got a whole stack of them on one of my shelves, and one of them I've just realised while I was getting those off that I have Sally Rooney's twice. Whoops! So yeah, they're a really lovely little set of stories by authors that you will know and some that you will not, that are just nice for dipping into, so check those out. So then, prompt 1, 2, 3, 4... I think I missed a finger, oh well, is a comfort read from your favourite time period. Now again, this was one that I read this prompt and kind of went, I don't really have a particular affinity with any particular time period, I don't think. I know that a lot of readers do, and some readers will love sort of historical fiction and from particular times. Obviously, that's the whole point of this prompt, isn't it? And I don't know that I really do, but then I was looking at my shelves and I realised, no, you know what, I've got a bit of a love and an interest for the Vikings and Norse mythology and all of that. And I've gotten sort of back into it again recently, looking at sort of the elder and younger Futhark and Viking runes, Norse runes, and old Icelandic, and it's all really fascinating, and it's a whole rabbit hole. So I decided again, and I've picked two. I've kind of, with most of these prompts, given myself sort of like two options. I might do one, I might do both. Firstly, I'm going to have a bit of a reread of the Prose Edda by Snorri Sturluson. I'm butchering these names. The Prose Edda and the Poetic Edda are kind of considered the kind of first real Norse Viking texts, and it's sort of a repository of all of its myths and legends and history. I have read this a couple of times before, but it's just, again, escapist. It's weird, nutty myths and legends, so I'm going to give that a bit of a comfort read from my favourite time period. The other one that I've picked that goes with that is one that I've not read before, but it's one that I found out as I went down the rabbit hole of Norse mythology and things like that, and that is The Wanderer's Hávamál by Jackson Crawford. Now, the Hávamál is another text that bits of it are in either the Poetic or the Prose Edda, I forget now, and it's essentially sort of Odin's, not commandments, but his musings, and sort of, it's sort of Odin's wisdom and his creed? I don't know. I'm using all the wrong language for it. But essentially, I thought it was a comfort read for something in these strange and uncertain, weird, crazy times. Something that's a little more kind of ways to live your life, ways to chill out, would be cool. Jackson Crawford is a professor at an American university, I've forgotten which. His videos on Norse mythology, Norse history, the language, everything, they're a whole rabbit hole in themselves. He is brilliant, and he's done this Wanderer's Hávamál, which, as well as his translation of the Hávamál, has also got sort of like a cowboy Hávamál, which pulls on his sort of roots in America and puts it in that sort of language. It's really, really interesting. I've read bits of it before. I've not read the whole thing since I've got it. So if you're interested, I will link to Dr. Jackson Crawford's channel as well. Would there be any interest in a video on Norse stuff from someone who doesn't really know what they're doing? No. Now we come to the additional prompts, optional prompts, that I have opted for. So the first one is a book from the Women's Prize long list. Now again, being a little bit out the loop, I couldn't entirely remember what was on the long list, so I actually had to go looking for it. But one that I have got, but I have only got it on my Kindle, and that is Weather by Jenny Offil. Technically, this would fall under favourite authors as well, because I absolutely loved Department of Speculation, and I had been really, really excited about this one. So Weather by Jenny Offil, meant to be sort of quite timely. That's on the long list, so that's going to be that one. Thank you. And then the final optional prompt, aside from the 24 and 48, which I'm not going to do, is a book with a bear in it or a bear on the cover. Now, I was going to go for Memoirs of a Polar Bear, same as Simon. I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll go for that one. I went through my shelf, full of my translated ones, and I thought, no, I'm going to go for this one instead. The Bear and the Paving Stone by Toshiyuki Horie. Now this is another one from the Pushkin Press series of Japanese novellas. It's 3 short stories, one of them's got a bear in it, and look at the bears on that cover. Lovely. So yeah, that's my book hibernation TBR. It sounds like I'm a robot when I say it because I'm really intentionally pronouncing the bear. I feel like this is going to be a really fun weekend that I need to kind of, like I say, give myself permission to just stop, sit, read books. Lovely. So thank you to Simon over at SavidgeReads for setting up this thing. I will link down below to his channel and his TBR and a bit about the book hibernation thing. I believe he is using the hashtag book hibernation, which I'll try and put somewhere here, if you want to join in. What are you going to be reading? What book with a bear on the cover have you gone for? Because other than like Paddington Bear and Winnie the Pooh, I just pulled a blank. Other than Children's Bears and Memoirs of a Polar Bear, until I saw I had this one on my shelf, I couldn't think of anything. Diddly squat. I just looked directly at that light. Not a good idea. So what's on your TBR if you're joining in? I have waffled on for far too long. I am still not used to doing this again, but ho-hum. Again, huge thank you to everyone who was lovely. I will reply to you. I just got overwhelmed. Thank you. I hope everybody is keeping safe and well and indoors at home and staying away from people in the physical sense, but not in the emotional sense. So yeah, that's that. I'll be back again. Am I Arnie or Slim Shady? Neither. So neither. Happy hibernation.